Look what happened to Jimmy Butler tonight. He lands and twists his knee, and that's a classic move for an ACL tear. So let's understand exactly what happened there and what are the chances that Jimmy, who will recover at age 37 plus, will even return to play. But before that, a bit of anatomy. Our knee is made up of 3 bones. The femur on top, the tibia below, and the patella floating in the middle. Inside the knee joint, there are 4 main ligaments that stabilize the knee, each from its own direction. The MCL, medial collateral ligament, is the ligament on the inner side. Medially, the LCL, lateral collateral ligament, is on the outer side, and inside there are 2 cruciate ligaments, the posterior and the anterior, posterior and anterior. And although there are 2 cruciate ligaments, when people refer to the cruciate, they usually mean the anterior one, the ACL, because injuries to it are much more severe and common than to the posterior. The ACL is responsible for stabilizing the knee in the anterior plane, meaning it prevents the tibia from sliding forward from the femur during such movements. It actually holds up pretty well, but in extreme movements like twisting, it usually tears, especially when this is combined with inward collapse like we saw with Jimmy. More than 55% of these injuries happen without any contact. But here there was a bit of contact when he touched his opponent before landing, and that changed the entire landing mechanics for him, which is why he twisted his knee. Once the knee loses its stability, you have to decide whether to have surgery or not, and I've explained this in detail here. You can catch up on that. But let's continue with Jimmy. By the way, rehabilitation from such an injury takes between 8 to 10 months, and often players take even a year before returning to play. In another 10 months from now, Jimmy will already be almost 37. So let's try to understand what are the chances he'll actually return to play. This very interesting study examined NBA players' return to play and came up with an intriguing formula. The overall return rate for 25-year-olds to the league after an ACL injury is 84%. But obviously, the older you get, the lower the chances become. The formula applies a multiplier of 0.71 for every year above or below that age. That means a 20-year-old player has a 97% chance of returning to play in the league compared to a 37-year-old player who has only an 8% chance. But it's important to note that this is a statistical prediction, not a personal assessment. This is where Jimmy's unique character comes in. He went through a tough childhood and developed a strong and combative personality. And if you want to catch up on that, I've talked about it quite a bit here in the video. So if you take that 8% calculation but add Jimmy's unique character to it, I believe he'll come back to play and give us another retirement tour, or maybe even 2. Good luck.